Welcome to a lesson on wikis, building an effective, informative wiki. After viewing this presentation, you should be able to identify the characteristics of an efficacious wiki by following along and learning about the facts that lead to a successful wiki and examining examples, which will lead you to be able to develop a standard style guide for the wiki you will create for your final assignment. So grab a notebook, a non-alcoholic beverage, and maybe a snack as we dig into what makes for an effective, informative wiki.
The phrase wiki means rapidly in the Hawaiian language. In 1994, Howard G. Ward Cunningham, pioneer of the wiki, began programming the Wiki web software. Back then, he described a wiki as the simplest online database that could possibly work. Wikis may prove to be a simple tool to create multimedia presentations and simple digital stories. They permit asynchronous communication and group collaboration and provide users with both author and editor privileges. Wikis are able to incorporate sounds, movies, and pictures.
Let's talk about the facts that make for a successful wiki. You need to make sure that you focus on a specific purpose, anticipate the audience, create concise and clear prose, take readers beyond the text, and make sure that you include source materials.
A wiki must have a purpose, even though some purposes might be combined. For example, you could persuade and entertain readers at the same time. The different purposes listed on the slide should be familiar to you because they are similar to the purposes of essays. Readers should be able to identify by your prose what you are trying to do in your wiki. For example, if it is informative, the sentence would answer one of the 5 W's: who, what, where, when, and why. Sometimes they can also answer how when they are explaining a process or how to do something. Informative wikis do not express opinions or try to convince others to take certain actions or stances. That would be persuasion. Also, if it is to entertain, it might be humorous and might include sarcasm or even satire. As you can see on the Stranger Things wiki, it answers questions such as, what is the premise of the show? Who released the series? When did the series begin? When and where is the action set or taking place? And if you were to click the links, you could learn who is in the cast. Thus, readers can tell this wiki is informative. You will notice on the V for Vendetta page from Uncyclopedia, the quotes are obvious indications of satire, as they range from a made-up quote from the author, Alan Moore, quote, "They ruined my story," to a silly list of words that begin with V, claiming that the central fictional character said it, veni, vidi, vici, vaudeville, vicarage, and so on. This is a clear indication that the purpose is to entertain with humor.
Knowing the audience for any text created is extremely important. With respect to a wiki, as a text that exists in the virtual world, there are 2 primary categories. You might have a global audience, which could be made up of novices or experts, or novices and experts. And then there is the restricted audience. This is an audience that would probably be members only, maybe people who belong to a particular group or club, or it could be a corporation, so it might be an employer-employee limitation. Here is an example of the mixed global audience of novice-expert. At an initial pass, the information provided on the character 11 from the show Stranger Things is fairly general, even as it includes a decent amount of information. This would give a novice audience, who is not necessarily familiar with the show, an overview of the character. For a more experienced or expert level audience, there are links that can be clicked to provide them with a deeper understanding of the character and elements that impact and/or influence the character. This ability to provide layered information allows wikis to reach multifaceted audiences simultaneously.
To convey information well, you must be very deliberate in your choices of where, what, and how to include words, and what not to include in every paragraph. I like what Purdue Online Writing Lab has to say about being concise. They say concise writing does not always have the fewest words, but it always uses the strongest ones. Words and phrases should be deliberately chosen for the work that they are doing. Like bad employees, words that don't accomplish enough should be fired. When only the most effective words remain, writing will be far more concise and readable. When you create a very visual text like a wiki, using bullet points and shorter paragraphs can also be a means of being concise and clear. In this Cookipedia wiki page, see how the writers followed the pattern given on the previous slide? They offer the most important information first, which is a definition of poaching as gently simmering food. They omit needless words and choose simple, specific words rather than technical vocabulary, but not insulting the audience. Everyone would understand the sentence, "It is important to keep the heat low and to keep the poaching time to a bare minimum." And they move additional explanations to other pages. For example, court bouillon and mirepoix, two technical words that people might not know, are hyperlinked to their own definitions. A wiki is not just a heap of random pages. Its great advantage is exactly the interlinking. You can focus on a particular topic and simply refer to other concepts with a link, or a paragraph, or a few. You don't have to cover the whole universe in one article, and are giving the readers an open invitation to explore some more through definitions, video, audio, or other sources if they're interested. You can see that there are 3 types of links in this example from the League of Legends wiki. There are links that take readers to other pages that are separate from the wiki, and there are links that take readers to pages that are part of the wiki and provide more information. Then, further on the page, you'll notice that there are links to photos and embedded videos that provide readers with access to videos either on the site or at other sites. For example, for this video, you can also click on YouTube and be taken to the YouTube site.
Documentation of any outside source material that is used in any project is extremely important. In some respects, in a virtual text such as a wiki, it is even more important as there are often multiple contributors to a wiki, and giving an audience a clear indication of the origin of information enhances the credibility and authority of the wiki and those that create the wiki. When documenting sources on a wiki, there must be an easily accessible location for the citation information. Hyperlinked citations are used to connect the material in the text to the source information, and in doing so, a consistent documentation style must be employed across all contributors to the wiki. Looking at this example from wikipedia.org, we can see that there is a hyperlinked number after the text that needs to have source material as support. Clicking on this number jumps the viewer directly to the dedicated location for the source material. This type of citation method resembles a modified form of Chicago-style documentation and leads to additional links that the audience can click from this section. All right, now let's take a moment to recap, and then we can discuss how this information plays forward into application for this course. Remember, we just looked at the facts about wikis. So when you are creating your own wiki, you will want to determine, a focused and specific purpose. Will you inform, entertain, or something else? Determine who is your anticipated audience. Will it be novice, expert, or both? How can you create concise and clear prose while you try to write as a cohesive group? In what ways will you take readers beyond the text? How will you judiciously bring in links, images, and/or other forms of multimedia? How will you ensure that you establish the credibility and authority of you and your wiki through the proper documentation of source materials?
Now it's time to apply what you've learned. You will need the Wiki Exploration worksheet in order to proceed. Please pause the video and follow the instructions. Okay, good. You have the worksheet that you need. As you can see in the worksheet, we are asking you to choose 3 completely different wikis and analyze them using specific questions. You will notice that these questions are related to the facts in the wikis. This will help you to think about how you and your group might choose to compose your collaborative wiki. The third item on the worksheet asks you to brainstorm potential topics. This will make you more ready to discuss topics with your group. Now it's time to delve in, find out more about wikis and how you would like to put your wiki together.
Thank you for your rapt attention, and remember to reach out if you have any questions concerning the information in this presentation or the corresponding assignment. Help is but an email or text message away.